Hello, everyone. Welcome on to a new week here on the Betting Weekly Studios, and we start every week with the Betting Weekly Dojo. We're 24 hours later than usual, but it's a Tuesday morning, and it's the start of the week in my book, and we're going to talk about all things sports betting, some strategies, and various different talk about betting and our week, looking at our profit and loss on the week. Delighted to say joining me is my co-host Neil Channing. Before I introduce you to Neil, please hit that subscribe button. We're approaching that target of 10,000 subscribers. We're about 400 not counting 488 away from 10,000. And with your help, we can get that hopefully before Wimbledon, if not during Wimbledon. But that has always been our target since we started the channel. And with your help, we could do that. Also, hit the like. Do join us and leave a comment below anything you like on the show, anything you want us to talk about on this show. Anyway, enough of all that. Welcoming Neil Channing. Good afternoon to you. Well, good morning to you, Neil.
Morning, Nigel. Morning. Are you in Italy now, aren't you? I think. Is that right? Are you still there?
I am. It is
Looks
my
fabulous.
final day.
Is it? It looks like you've had a great time. I've been following your Instagram pictures and all that kind of stuff. It looks amazing.
It is. I mean, it's been a fantastic trip. It's the first time I've ever been to this coast. It won't be the last time.
The Amalfi Coast, which is
absolutely.
is a fabulous part of Italy. Yeah, super.
The only downside of it, and someone who travels about a bit like yourself, is that the internet, when you're 1,500 feet up on a cliffside, isn't the best. And so, apologies if my internet is not great here today. It hasn't been that brilliant throughout the week, but I'm sure you appreciate the backdrop. The backdrops where I've been sitting out doing some of the videos with Sean have been amazing. But what you don't see after that, when you're recording for 35 minutes, is you come back and you've been bitten alive by mosquitoes, flies, and various different things. So I've come into the apartment today to talk to you, Neil, rather than sacrifice my body for any more bites.
My backdrop might be slightly less glamorous, but I have to say that checking into this hotel for Royal Ascot was one of the best things I've ever done. As people say, so many people said to me, "Are you going to Royal Ascot?" I said, "No, I'm going to a hotel in West London." And it's been amazing though, having air conditioning when it's like 30 degrees and everyone else. I'm watching the coverage of the racing and all they can talk about is how hot they are in their morning suits and stuff. And I was just sat here thinking, oh, this is nice. I wonder if I ought to turn the air conditioning up a bit. It was great.
How did it go? Well, that's good.
Well, it's exhausting. I basically didn't really move from this room. Sat in this chair, literally from 3 a.m. until I think I'd have a rest about 8 p.m. Watch 1 hour of telly, and then start thinking about working on the next day. I'd do about an hour on the next day, and then I'd go to bed at 10, set the alarm at 3, and I'd literally not move from the chair. I'd say that actually I did pop out to some bookies around about 12 each day. That was the only fresh air I got for like 1 hour. Not very fresh air in the bookies. I had a brilliant first day. Second day was quite frustrating. I think about 3 seconds, and I thought I'd won on the day. And when I added it up, I had a small loss. Third day, bit of a disaster. Fourth day, small winner. Fifth day, small winner. And actually going into the last day, I thought, oh, it's going to be a struggle to win on the week. And actually all those small winners added up and I ended up winning a little bit. I mean, that was for the Betting Emporium customers. They made a profit, which I'm always pleased about, and I always hope those guys will win. I actually totally fluked it though, because I had some trouble getting some of my bets down. I missed quite a few losers, which I definitely wanted to be on and just couldn't be on. And I missed one winner, and which wasn't a very big price, and I missed a bunch of losers. So I actually won slightly more, but that's just a fluke, I mean, it was I definitely wanted to be on those horses, but it was. I thought it was a great week actually. I really enjoyed the racing. I find it, I generally watch the two in the UK. We have two specialist racing channels, and then when it's a big meeting, it's on national television on ITV, and I watch the ITV coverage all week. And because it's national television, and it's not just for people that are geeks about racing, they have to broaden it out, and they talk about the royal family and the procession and the fashion and the food and stuff. And the racing fans get so upset about it. You see them posting on the internet, moaning about how are they spending time talking about this rubbish? I just want to hear about the horses. I actually really liked it. I thought it was great. I quite like all that sort of flavour of it. I think it's fun.
Did you take any fashion tips for next year's summer
I've
collection?
certainly made some notes, and
Yeah.
I'm giving it a lot of thought. Actually, I think I might be checking into this hotel next year. Maybe I need to book it straight away to make sure I don't miss out.
Well, people are heading to Benidorm for Cheltenham. Surely people are going to West London hotels for all Ascot with air conditioning. Could be the way forward. You could be sending a fashion trend.
I
With
am a
that.
bit of a fashion trendsetter, as you know.
Yeah. Just on the week, did he manage to pay the extras for the hotel? That's the most important thing.
The hotel exes have been quite high, but luckily they were covered by the week. Actually,
That
I
is,
don't know as well. I've been I don't know whether you guys seem to be doing quite well on the men's tennis, and I've been following on that, and I seem to have had quite a good run on that recently. And I don't know. I was so busy during Ascot. I meant to bet Tommy Fleetwood to win the golf, and I just forgot. And I didn't even look at it. Like I didn't follow the tournament. I didn't watch any of it. And then I tuned in on Sunday to see how he was doing, thinking, "Oh God, I hope Tommy Fleetwood hasn't won because I meant to have quite a good bet on him." And I just saw what happened to him, poor fella. He is going to win the Open though, so that's fine.
do you think so?
Well, I think I've backed him every year for the last 3 years for the Open, so I haven't actually studied much yet on the Open, but I'm sure on the things that I look at for the Open, he's going to come out in the kind of top 5 people. So this is, I'll probably end up backing him.
I remember telling you a story a few weeks ago about Russell Henley winning the tournament to get me the money when my boy came out to see me in Spain.
And
So
Russell Henley was having a big week this week.
I bet Russell Henley, and he comes second, but being by one shot. So I thought he might be able to might be my lucky omen twice in my career, Russell. He could be taking over the backdrop in the office, be taking away Diego Maradona.
So even though you're on holiday, I know obviously you've been making videos for Because We Win. I've seen that, but you're still cracking away having a bet as well.
I have bet. Well, when I get into the reception, I've bet every one of your Royal Ascot selections.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't miss one. Didn't get the
That's
each way
quite hard
terms on
work,
all of
isn't
them.
it? It's quite getting all the bets down is quite hard work.
It was quite hard, but I didn't get obviously the extra places. But I did bet all your, and I've done some tennis, and I had a little bit on the golf. I had my first bet last night on the Club World Cup, which I didn't really want to do, but I bet the under 2.5 goals in the Atletico Madrid game, which was 1-0. And
Sounds good.
yeah, but what it is here, Neil, I tell you the truth, we are so far up of this mountain edge that when you go out for the day, you don't want to come back up and get changed and go back down again because it's too much. The walk is too much.
Yeah.
So what we do is we'll go down and
have taxis there or anything,
and then we'll have a few bets while we're up here.
Why not?
Because the internet reception is better up in the room where it is downstairs. So that's what we're doing.
So if I'm, as you know, I'm moving all the time. I'm trying to find the perfect place to be. So far it seems to be this hotel in West London. The perfect place to be a professional gambler. Would you say, Minori would be a possible runner?
No.
No.
No. You wouldn't be running around to betting shops unless you had a moped or something like that. But there'd be no. But I mean, the internet connection not good enough for you, Neil. But it's lovely. It's a great place for holiday. We're having a fantastic time. But the walk up and down is bad.
Obviously, yours is much more picturesque. In my location, what I quite like is I can jump on the tube, go 3 stops, and there's 4 different firms with betting shops all within 100 yards of each other. I mean, that's,
I'm sure
for me, that is a holiday.
Well, there's a business model here, isn't it? Like people who want to get bets on during Royal Ascot, locations, like a website, like a TripAdvisor for gamblers.
Yeah,
you've got a nice hotel here. You've got a Paddy Power off of the 5th one.
Yeah.
You've got William Hill's up the road. You've got these different bookmakers.
Yeah.
And you have internet access is really good, so you can get on. It's a business model, surely.
I think that's
Wagon Advisor.
I'm going to leave a review for this hotel saying how handy it is for the bookies.
For Royal Ascot. Obviously, Royal Ascot was last week. Wimbledon is coming up next week. The build-up continues here. We've got a live show, myself.
Is it on Sunday or Monday, does it
start? Monday. And they're traditional. They don't do these Sunday starts like the
I thought so, but I wasn't sure if it had changed.
No, it's Monday start. Traditional timings, everything's the same. But on the draw is on Friday, and we'll have a live show, a live betcast with myself, Tim Dennis, and also Rory Giovanni looking at the draw as it breaks through, looking at the bracket, giving you the best bets as the draw unfolds, where we think there's a potential banana skin where they think there's a fade. And also in the newsletter this week, the Insider, Betting Weekly Insider, it's a Wimbledon special. So it's a whole host of specials. Every single handicapper who covers tennis and
How do
sport,
people sign up for the newsletter, Nigel? Because I
they just
often
go
hear
to
you saying that.
bettingweeklystudios.com. All you have to do is go to bettingweeklystudios.com. It's free and it comes out every Friday and Monday. So there's a lot of stuff there going on. It's also a great time for American bettors to join us.
So they've just finished the NBA championship. The Oklahoma City Thunder won that. So now they're all having a rest, are they? They've got nothing to do, just baseball.
Well, I'm waiting. They're waiting for the NFL to start, but obviously there's Club World Cup coming on. There's the tennis hotting up.
But American punters are much more in tune with soccer than they ever were, kind of even 10 years ago. Now, I mean, it used to be that they used to talk about the long dog days of the summer in the Vegas sports books and nothing much going on, and everybody switches to bases. And but really, I think baseball is not growing as a betting sport, whereas soccer and tennis are going mental.
Yeah, and obviously you've got a football tournament, soccer tournament out in the stateside as well, the Club World Cup Championship. This time next year you've got the World Cup. So this off-season is good. And it always surprises me when June is always a really, really good month for our subscribers. June, July, when the football season isn't playing, the American sports come to an end. But we grow quite considerably over that. And I suppose that is because the American audience, who we've got to remember, this is a show sponsored by American Sportsbook, Bet Rivers. This is Bet Rivers' channel. And the majority of people who watch this show, people always say to me, why do we talk American odds? Why do we talk soccer? Because this is an American show sponsored by an American sportsbook. And the majority of people who watch this channel are based in America. But it always amazes me that people come into this time of season and our subscribers grow. Our peak month is June. And, I think that's a lot to do with that. Is a lot of Americans who come across want to get more information on tennis and soccer, especially the big tournament.
Also, in terms of the information, I think 20 years ago, if I would go to Vegas quite often. 20 years ago, I was virtually half the year in Vegas, and I would find that if I wanted to bet on, if I was trying to bet on a European sport, a more European sport like football, soccer. There wasn't much information there. They'd have some odds, but obviously there, everyone had the internet even 20 years ago. It's not 30 years ago, but I just think the amount of information they've got now, there's no real reason for some sports to be kind of considered to be US sports and some sports to be considered to be European sports, because the internet is global. And if you're interested in soccer, and a lot of American people are interested in soccer, obviously America has a big Hispanic population as well, and South American football and Central American football is extremely strong. There's no reason why it shouldn't be a sport that Americans are into. People play it a lot because obviously there's a low entry cost. You just need a ball and somewhere to kick it about. Not all the equipment that you need for NFL. I find that sort of slightly not that surprising that Americans are getting really into betting on soccer in a way that they perhaps weren't 15 years ago. It just seems, which kind of brings me on to something I was thinking about today, because obviously we're having this slight sort of downtime. I've finally finished Ascot. I was so exhausted by the end of it. I've been having a few days off, and basically, if I have several days off, I tend to get in touch with people that I don't keep up with enough, and go out for lunch or go out for dinner or have a drink or something. And I've caught up with a couple of people that I haven't seen for a while, gamblers. And I noticed that one of them particularly, he seems to be in like dozens of WhatsApp groups with other gamblers. So his phone would go and he'd be like, oh, I have to bet on whatever it was. And I would be like, well, why is that? And he's like, well, I don't know. It's just so-and-so in my group said that it's a good thing to do. And, I'm going to do it now. And, you should probably do it. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. He's quite smart, that guy. Why am I not in this group? How have you guys formed a group without me and secretly? But But I was thinking, well, and also like in terms of Bet Rivers as well. You have a network of people that you've built up over the years. A lot of the people that appear on the various shows are people that you've known for 15 or 20 years through gambling, and you've built that network up. That's been a kind of a life's work, really, of getting to know all those people and building it up. You've got the perfect job, really, running this channel for Bet Rivers because lots of they couldn't just pick a 18-year-old kid off the street and ask him to take over from you. Luckily for you, because he wouldn't have all the contacts. And that made me think if you were a young fella looking to start out as a professional gambler, given the world of the internet that we live in, how do you go about building up those contacts and is it possible anymore? But then I suddenly thought, well, of course it is because we've got the internet now, and the internet has just changed everything so much. You don't need, one of the, I was thinking about it again because the guy yesterday, one of the people he was messaging, he never even met them before. He's just somebody he knew off the internet, and they message all the time now, and they're getting, leads on sports and whatever. And actually, you can build up your whole network. You could live in Pig's Knuckle, Arkansas, in the middle of nowhere, and you could have a contact in Hong Kong and a contact in Australia and a contact in South Africa on various different sports, and you never need to have been to any of those places or met the people. And also, like website-wise, I talk to a guy quite regularly about golf. He just loves to talk to me about what golf bets he's had. And he's lovely. He drives me mad talking to me about what golf bets he said. And he said to me the other day, what software are you using for your golf bet? I mean, has he met me before? I've got this is my software. But I do quite like. I've started looking at Data Golf, which is a great site, I think. I spend quite a lot of time on Data Golf, and I've just worked out some stuff on my own on there, which I don't think it's particularly sophisticated what I'm doing, but it seems to work for me. And actually, I don't really need to talk to anyone about golf. I don't actually know that much about golf. I'm not like a super big golf expert, but I know when I'm looking at 18-hole matches, I know what I'm looking for, and I can find all the information on Data Golf, and I just look at it like a jigsaw puzzle, and I have certain criteria I'm looking for, depending on the course makeup and whatever each week. And I look at the first, second, third round scores. I factor in recency bias. I look at the pre-tournament stats, and I try and work out my prices. And actually, there's not a very liquid market in those things, so it is a bit like old-fashioned man-on-man gambling. And I really like that. And I actually think I've managed to do all that without really having, I don't really feel like I have a golf. I used to have like 3 or 4 people I would ring for golf and say, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? I don't need to do that anymore. I've got the internet. Why would I waste their time? I don't know. Do you think it's changed? If you were a young guy starting out today, would you make an effort to build up a network of people, or is it just knowing which websites to look on and who to look at and who to follow on Twitter?
I think there's various different. There's answers to many of your questions there. The first answer to the question is that the people that I've sort of developed in this channel, the majority of the people in this channel I've worked with previously in trading rooms. So, I've worked with you, I've worked with Rory, I've worked with Sean, I've worked with these guys before, and they've had betting experience before working in trading rooms. The problem is now that there is no such thing as traders. Back in the day, there was a room of 25 different guys, all of a similar age, all hungry for success, all trying to find an edge, all working on different sports. And the knowledge shared in that was exactly like a fantastic WhatsApp group or a fantastic website of 25 different sports in one. So that was our WhatsApp group at the time. I think that was the one thing that I thought you would miss if you was a professional gambler on your own, not knowing that. You could form a WhatsApp group with those people, but I've been involved in multi WhatsApp groups, like literally loads of WhatsApp groups. And the tendency is that you bet everything that comes through because you don't want to miss a winner. And it takes you a period of time to realise who's probably got the edge and who hasn't
Yeah,
got the edge.
there's always a few idiots in every
Yeah, and
WhatsApp
by
group.
that time, you've done a lot of money establishing who's pretty good and who's not very good. So I would like to form my WhatsApp group by having this channel. The people I know over a period of time can make money. So, and then with the WhatsApp groups that you have, they have the guy who runs it always sort of tries to tell me, oh, this guy's good because he works for this particular bookmaker. This guy's right because he's got horses with this particular guy. This guy's really good on cricket. But what happens in the WhatsApp group is if somebody has a nice winner, he feels obliged to give you 3 other bets that particular day. Just, you've got his first bet, then all of a sudden he gives you, there's another few you want to bet, and they all lose. Because the tendency is when someone's had a winner, they want to give you more. And then when someone has a few losers, they want to give you more to try to prove that they can win. Whereas when you're in a group with someone, you can see the body language of somebody, say, I quite like this, I don't particularly like it. But everybody can make a convincing case for anything in a WhatsApp group. So I always like to know who I'm dealing with. And also when I run the tipping sites, and obviously you've run the tipping sites before, I had so many people offering me their services to do so. But I wanted to see 1,000 bets from the minimum to see what they're like. So when you go into a WhatsApp group, the first bet you could hit a 10-1 winner from Joe. Then all of a sudden, everyone in the WhatsApp group wants to prove they're as good as Joe. Yeah. They all give their bets, and by the end of the day, you've lost money because you don't know the quality of these people. With regards to websites, you've got to have the experience to know where you've got to go. What I tend to find, there's one particular guy at the moment, a young guy who he's building a bit of a following on social media, and he's very good at horse racing, very good at British horse racing. But he's gone from having 500 followers to 3,500 followers in a very, very quick period of time. So the market is realising this kid, and so every time he puts a bet up, it's halving in price. Once he gets to 5,000 to 6,000 followers, he's going to realise he's onto something, can't get his bet on at the price he wants, or being restricted, and he'll start charging. It's going to happen because he's going to make money. So the shelf life of finding these people is very, very short because they'll give their edge away until they can't profit on it from the book. So I still think.
I think with the Twitter kind of people, I think I know which guy you're talking about. I find him quite entertaining anyway, even if I'm not necessarily going to follow what he's doing. I like to hear what he's saying because I think he's quite fun and interesting. And I'm not going to say that because are you on about? I think his first name's Steve. I
know the guy you're on about, but he's very good. This guy's a different guy. He's exceptional. Okay. He's an exceptional. I think he's brilliant, and I've been watching his videos. But he's very, very good. But this guy's a bit under the radar.
Oh, okay.
A bit under the radar.
Oh, you better tell me that one later.
I'll see you after the show. But he's pretty good.
But I do think there's several different kinds of people, aren't there? The people who are trying to, like you say, the classic business model of a Twitter gambling guy is that he's going to give you selections for free, try and get himself into a situation where he puts up some winners and picks up some followers, and then suddenly you're going to find out, you have to join my Patreon or send some money on PayPal or whatever, and you can be in the Telegram group or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's it's a perfectly good business model, but you've got to be careful because a lot of these people, it's quite a small sample size of bets, and they might have started up dozens of these Twitter accounts under different names, and just the one that suddenly hits a run is the one that they start charging for. You can never tell whether that's what's going on. So you need to sort of, if you can see some reasoning for the bets, and if you can see, there's obviously a good thing that you guys do with Because We Win is that the profit and loss is on the screen all the time, flashing up. And it must be painful. Obviously, you've had a bit of a terrible time with women's tennis, having a great time with men's tennis. It must be infuriating doing a show with the women's when you've got it. The loss is always in the corner of the screen.
We only have to give an outright pick. So it's like golf bet. You could be 50.
Yeah, you can go 10 weeks and then suddenly you have a 25-1 winner and you're back in clover. I understand that it must be frustrating. And I think you had 2 decent priced ones in the semi-final.
We had a 50-1 each way semi-finals last week.
Yeah, they just had to win. They just had to win at -$2, and you'd have been on a 25-1 winner. Yeah, no, I did see that, but I think a lot of these people online, they're not really showing their results. Um, they have a short-term little, flurry of winners, and suddenly they want to charge, and you need to be careful about that. But I also quite like, I like following. I follow quite a lot of gamblers, just because I like them or I know them, who don't particularly ever really give selections, but then just once in a blue moon, they'll suddenly say, "Oh, by the way, I'm having a really big bet today on this thing, and you should probably do that." Um, and I would always follow that, especially if it's someone that I've followed for 3 years or something, and it's the third time they've ever actually posted a bet on Twitter. And in that situation, I haven't got any numbers as to how they're doing. I haven't got any kind of sample size. I just know from their other tweets about sports and gambling that they must be quite smart because they don't say really stupid things. And I know their reputation. So I don't think you always have to have, dollar amounts on what they've won in the last year. But I think it's obviously the world of social media is a dangerous world, but also just not just so much kind of people touting or tipping or whatever, but just information generally. There's lots of geeky information sites out there. And, with the golf, data golf is absolutely. I don't even know who
But
runs
you're
data golf.
different, Channing. You're
But
different.
you find something like that where they're giving out obviously you can subscribe, and it's I don't know how much, I don't know, I haven't even subscribed. I probably should, but you can get on this kind of free service. There's a huge amount of information up there, and you must have that with tennis. Various sites that you use where you can find the head-to-heads and the matchups and whatever.
Yeah, but
And
the problem is the WhatsApp groups. The WhatsApp groups, someone does the work for you. Like, this
mm,
channel does the work for you. The fact that
yeah,
you've got
yeah,
to go
yeah,
into data golf, either you've got to still go through all your numbers. You've still got to put an hour part
mm,
of work in it. And a lot, I genuinely don't have the time to
mm,
do that anymore. So I'd much rather someone like you do the work for me, send me a message and say, this is a bet. And, the idea
mm,
of me sitting down for an hour and a half delving through stats. I mean, the other thing as well is that my tennis handicapping days are pretty much gone. I mean, I'll have a rough idea when the odds come through.
mm,
That'll be a bet. But Sean does the hard work for that for me
yeah,
now. So I don't necessarily, I just have to be the presenter. On the women's tennis, I just look at the draw and try to find a little bit of value on the outright market. So I don't
mm,
have to
mm,
delve into 128 matches, and nobody on this channel has to do it anymore because it's all there for you.
mm, mm, mm.
I mean,
I
the
just
one thing I would say, just whenever you
mm,
go into a WhatsApp group, this is just,
yeah.
honestly, I've been in, I reckon, probably 50 WhatsApp groups, and I've forced myself out about 48 because I'm betting on things, and I can't stand, I have no problem in losing bets when it's my decision. If it's
Mm,
my decision and I like player A to beat player B, and I've bet it and it loses, no problem. But what drives me infuriating when I lose an awful lot of money by trusting people who I've never ever met in a WhatsApp group because someone says, "Oh, he's quite good,"
mm,
and that
mm,
person might not be a better judge of better than me. I don't
mm,
think people like yourself, me, who've got experience, are better judges of people than anyone else. Going back to what my dad says,
mm,
be a judge of judges. Now, when you go into a WhatsApp group and you'll send, and these are all people who make money and gamblers, when you see list of the number of people in it more than 20, that should be alarm bells ringing because you know full well you're going to get 20 people giving you bets. You're going to
I'm
have 20
finding it
bets.
funny. Actually, because the whole WhatsApp group culture among pro punters is quite unusual and amusing to me. But I also find it amusing that I get invited to so few of them. I must be considered. I think they think I'm such a blabbermouth that I can't be trusted with this secret information.
But we had one.
It's either that, or they think that I'm betting so big that I'm going to smash up their prices, and
We
they're not going to get on. I don't know. I don't
had
know what it is. My friend last night. We have a lot of mutual friends. He's in like 20 WhatsApp groups with gamblers, and they're all telling him stuff all the time. I said, well, how am I not in any of these? And I said, who's in that one? Who's that? I said, you that message now. And he's like, oh, it's so and so. And I'm like, yeah, well, I know them. Why's no one invited me? I'm feeling really left out. I'm Billy No Mates.
We're gonna get inundated now with about 100 WhatsApp groups to get involved. But the worst person in a WhatsApp group is someone who goes, "I've got some tips for you today," and he gives you 5 horse racing tips,
Yeah.
and they range from like -120 up to like $5. The first
Mm.
4 lose and the -120 wins, and you get boom, boom, like exactly
Boom,
that.
you got a third of your money back.
He's lost all 4 bets and then boom, and everyone, and then all the other people in the WhatsApp group go boom as well.
I don't think I don't think I want to be in a WhatsApp group where people
I get
go
out of the
boom.
group the minute it comes up.
If anyone
But
uses the word boom in a group, I
now,
think that would be enough for
if
me.
you think about WhatsApp groups though, and I go back to you again, you know, the question you said to me about is like, you know, can you find the internet?
Yeah, if you were a young guy starting out,
Yeah.
would you be able to manage without the
I
contact?
think it's very difficult because the young guys coming out now don't really bet with opinion. They bet with data. They bet
Yeah,
with
of course. Which is what I'm saying. I don't think they need the contacts for the
they don't need
data
it.
because they just need to know the good websites to find the data.
And most young guys now who are betting, who are professional gamblers, don't want to give their edge away anymore. What us oldies, we don't want. We like the ego, like to tell someone we bet 10-1 winner. They don't give their edge away. But going back to when we were trading in our spread betting days, if I had well, say you had this WhatsApp group, you had a WhatsApp group with the cricket man, a WhatsApp group with one of the football traders, a WhatsApp group with the American football, horse racing, Formula One, golf, and tennis, and you just had those 7 people in that WhatsApp group, you'd bet everything in that group, wouldn't you?
Yeah, for sure.
That would be the WhatsApp group above all WhatsApp groups, because those guys, I felt, are those 7. The reason I put tennis in is because I was a tennis guy. But anyway, if you take him out, you can take him out if you want.
Well, you're right.
But
We worked in that office where if you had a day off and you came in and they'd all bet a winner, you know, in the snooker or something the day before, and you'd be like, well, I was on a day off. Why did nobody call me?
Yeah.
But now we have WhatsApp, and obviously you could have, you know, it didn't matter. You'd have been fine. There was a phenomena in the UK actually. There's 3 or 4 people that have made kind of slight names for themselves in sort of UK Twitter gambling circles by, you know, sort of going around boasting about how great they are as professional punters. And it became clear that really their whole edge was that they worked for a big firm, one of the big bookmakers in the UK, and they were just tailing the customers. You know, they were following in the winning customers. They stopped working for the firm because they'd won so much money. They felt like they could be a professional gambler. They still got contact with people that work there, so they're still finding out the information. But then after 6 months, the people that work there don't want to send them the information anymore, and
the big punters aren't betting with them anymore.
Yeah. And now it turns out they weren't so smart. So I think that's a kind of a thing that can happen a little bit. I don't know, those, you know, like in those days, you know, we worked for a big spread company, and you know, I worked for a couple of those. I always used to feel like I could afford to quit this job quite easily. It doesn't really pay as much as, you know, I was gambling in an average week what I got paid in a year. And my winnings were considerably more than my salary every month, like by a long way. And people said to me, well, I don't understand why you keep going to work, really. What's the point? And I said, basically, it was for the contact of the people that I met there, you know, all the people that worked there. I like the camaraderie, and I'm like, if there'd have been WhatsApp around at the time, I'd have just quit. I'd have just been in a WhatsApp group with all the people.
But the security would have been impossible to get the WhatsApp group out. You know, you would have been in your contracts. You can't divulge the information. You can't do.
No, but it wasn't necessarily like secret information. It wasn't following what the customers were doing. It was more following what all the other employees were doing.
Yeah, but they were using the intellectual technology of the stuff to get
to an extent. I
left that company even then to another company, and we were told we cannot bet even in the 90s. We cannot. Nobody in the office could have a wager. We were very lucky at that fortunate time to be able to do the wagers, but that changed very, very quickly.
Well, of course, you know, if you work for Star Lizard, you know, the biggest gambling company in the world, the most successful gambler in the world at the helm, you're not allowed to bet when you work there. You know, if you're in charge of Polish football at Star Lizard, you can't have a bet on Polish football. No chance. Well, you know, that'd be an instant sackable offence. I don't know. It's
but you're getting rewarded, like getting information.
You're doing okay. You're doing okay.
£15 a year to do teletext. £2 bet on the teletext was something else we could talk about.
You're probably doing okay.
You're doing all right if you don't need to bet on it. But WhatsApp groups, if you're in a WhatsApp group, let us know. Me and Neil would love to be involved in your WhatsApp group as long as you got less.
If there's smart people in it. Hang on a minute, I'm getting a WhatsApp right now, Nigel. I might have to go. I've got 7 bets come through.
Yeah. Sumo WhatsApp group from his sumo contacts.
Actually, my sumo guy, I haven't heard
many
from him.
WhatsApp groups.
He's not sent me anything for ages.
Involved in so many WhatsApp groups. It's unbelievable. I could do with getting out of some of the WhatsApp groups, not getting involved in WhatsApp groups. I just want to tell you a quick story. I've been offered a challenge in Las Vegas. Listen to this. Okay. So I get a lot of abuse from these American soccer bettors saying how easy it is to take a PK, take a penalty kick, right? PK, yeah. So a penalty. So this guy reckons that.
Do you know the price? Do you know the price on a penalty?
3 on in it to score. Minus
I think that's roughly. I mean, obviously it can vary depending on the time of the game. Or if it's a penalty shootout, the first one is kind of 78%, and then when you get to number 4 penalty taker, number 5 penalty taker, it can be more like 72% or something like that. So, but it's in that range, yeah. Minus 300 is about right.
This guy, there's 2 guys in America, and they reckon they're quite well known. They reckon that taking a penalty kick is the most easiest thing in the world. No problem to score a penalty kick. Okay. And I explained to them about pressure. They started laughing. Pressure. How can anyone miss the pressure in a World Cup final? Go for it. Couldn't get their head around penalties. What a joke. All you've got to do is punt it. Now, kick it, punt it, right? Whatever they say. Yeah. Now, I played not a bad standard of football when I was younger, as you're probably aware. And if you try to kick a ball, right, power, you lose. You can't place it. If you try to place it, you lose power. So
when you see them miss a penalty, if they really blast it, that's when it goes over.
It's going to go over. It's going to go wide. But if you try to place it, it's easy to read for the goalkeeper. So you've got to place it with power. Essentially, what you do. Yeah. And these guys reckon that they could score at more than 3 penalties against anybody, including a professional goalkeeper. Now, I guess a professional goalkeeper,
5 attempts.
5, but they wouldn't score 1. I'm telling you, against a professional goalkeeper, they wouldn't score 1. They've offered me a challenge to go to Las Vegas.
Well, yeah, when are we going?
And have a penalty shootout, and they've got to score 3 or more. So they've got to score more than 3 against me.
Let's go. When are we going? Straight away after Wimbledon.
After this show.
We could pop it in. We could get in before Wimbledon. We could get Wimbledon money up with this.
Yeah, they've got no chance.
They've got no chance. Why have you said this? Why have you said this in public? They've got no chance. You should be saying to them, I think it's quite close.
They are so confident and they're so...
And they want to bet even money. This is an even money bet.
An even money. They'll score 4 or 5 past me in goal.
I thought you said it was a professional goalkeeper.
No, against a professional goalkeeper, they reckon they would score 3 or more. And I said, against me, you wouldn't score 3 or more. Okay. So they said, okay, well, but I would definitely, they'll miss 1. They won't score 4 or 5, no.
I mean, my main advice to you is to get some of those really big gloves.
But you'd be betting me, wouldn't you? You'd be betting me.
I would bet you. Yeah, I think
they'll score 4 or 5.
I mean, I don't know what these guys look like, but
well, trust me, they're not football players. They're not soccer players. They're not. There's no way they're scoring 4 goals against me.
Are you going to a professional stadium for this, or what?
Well, there's talk about doing it at in a venue, and we'll see. But
not indoors. They are outdoors on the grass.
Outdoors, yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever I played football, I used to get paid money to play football, like so decent standard on a Saturday. And whenever there was an injury to the goalkeeper, I'd play in goal. So I'm not a bad keeper.
I'm on. I want to be on. Just don't put it in the WhatsApp group.
They think they're just going to punt it like an American would.
If you've got any spare action on this that you don't need, I'll give that. Let me have that, and don't put it in the WhatsApp group.
It's in the WhatsApp. Well. Anyway, that's enough for the dojo this week. But if you are in a WhatsApp group, honestly, Neil's feeling very, very upset that he's not involved in WhatsApp groups. There's nothing more than Neil likes to do 12 hours of work studying and then be up all night with messages going off with bets on various different sports.
Actually, you're right. You're right. I can think of nothing worse. Yeah, he absolutely loves it. I'm glad that they've all spurred me and no one wants to talk to me.
Neil's girlfriend is returning from from her adventures in France to nothing she likes more than WhatsApps going throughout the night and
She
Neil
loves
getting
it
up
buzzing. She loves the phone buzzing away.
to bet on various different things throughout the evening. But obviously, we only want to be in WhatsApp groups that's got no more than
Smart
6
people. We just want smart people, basically.
and more than 6. Talking to smart people, loads of comment here on the Betting Weekly Studios on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, as I said. Very close to that magical number of 10,000. Please do so. If you've enjoyed this content, do join us. Hit the like button and hit that subscribe button. Lots of you are coming along at this off-season American sports. And if you want some action on the tennis, there is no better place to be. Wimbledon starts on Monday next week. A live show doing the live draw. Myself, Rory and Tim will break you through Betting Weekly Tennis live. 3 days a week, Monday through to Wednesday. Sean Calvert and myself will be breaking down the draw and the bracket, and also on WTA with Rory. Those shows will be dropping on Saturday. Busy day on Saturday. Huge amount of tennis coverage coming on Saturday ahead of Wimbledon. Best bets in first round on the men's and the women's and the outright markets. And that's my birthday Saturday as well, Neil, and I'll be working away doing all those kind of stuff. So there you go.
Happy birthday.
Loads of other sports as well. The Club World Cup is going on stateside as well, and the Betting Weekly Live team have been smashing winners on that. Will White gave 2-2 last night in a match. The old Desmond come in for him. James Eastman, I think he went 8 winning bets at the weekend. Just the machine. James Eastman keeps winning on everything he does. So everything, the action may be stopping over stateside in terms of the NBA, and the NFL is fast approaching, but there's so much more sports to bet here, and we have you covered. And finally, the Betting Weekly Insider and newsletter is available. And all you have to do is subscribe to that at bettingweeklystudios.com. This weekend, we have a full Wimbledon guide. So if you're new to tennis and you want it in a format, it's going to be an excellent insider. All the handicappers will give you the players to be looking out for, all the players to fade, and it's all free at bettingweeklystudios.com. Neil, thank you as always for your time.
Nice to see you, Nigel.
Sitting there. If you want to, Wagon Advisor is our new website. If you want to go to the hotels in London, proximity to betting shops, proximity for bonuses, and each way Schneidery will let you know where the best hotels are for all the action you have over the major racing events in London. Take care, and we'll speak to you all again next week.